Now, today we're going to be talking about a very famous author. His real name is Samuel Clemens, but most people know his name as Mark Twain. And he wrote which books? Famous books.
uh, Adventure of Tom.
Yeah, that's right, Tom Sawyer. So very good. He's actually, a lot of students, even in Korea, know about this book. By any chance, did you read it?
No, I haven't.
Mm, okay. Well, just to give you a quick summary of what the story is about. Basically, it's about a boy. He's about maybe a little bit younger than you, maybe sixth grade, seventh grade. And it's about his life in the southern part of America during the 1850s near a big river called the Mississippi River. And he's not a good student. He's a little bit naughty, and he does a lot of adventures outside of school. So just doing things that are kind of fun, but also naughty. Well, we're gonna go ahead and practice reading this, and also make some questions, doing the same thing that we did with the previous stories. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and start reading, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this up. Okay,
Read it.
yeah,
Okay.
you go ahead and read.
Samuel Clemens, best known as Mark Twain, liked to use different pen names throughout his long writing career, but his favorite one was Mark Twain.
Okay, so let's think about that. So when they say the pen names, that means that people use a different name when they want to tell people who the writer is. And it sounds like, but his favorite was Mark Twain. It sounds like he had more than one pen names. Okay, so go ahead and continue.
Clemens got the name from the years he spent working on riverboats in Mississippi. When a riverboat man called out Mark Twain, it meant that it was safe for a boat to pass. In
Okay,
addition,
hang on for a second. So let's go ahead and think about some of the information in the first sentence. What do you think is the important information?
what is the meaning of Mark Twain?
Okay,
And the meaning is being being safe, being safe for a boat to pass.
okay. Now I'm also going to add a question up at the beginning. So I'm going to use the pen name. So I'm going to say, what was Samuel Clemens' pen name? And if we wanted to be a little bit more specific, we can say favorite, because that means he had many, or more than one. And we'll say Mark Twain. Okay, so then let's go ahead and continue. So with, in addition, a riverboat captain that Samuel Clemens knew used to sign his name Mark Twain. Okay, you
In
continue.
addition, a riverboat captain that Samuel Clemens knew used to sign his name Mark Twain.
The captain was known for being truthful, reliable, and accurate.
The captain was known for being truthful, reliable, and accurate.
Well, let's think about that because we know what truthful means. Like he's honest. We know reliable. That means he says something and he's going to do it. Now, what about accurate?
Accurate is exact.
Exact. So then, how can that explain a person?
Punctual.
Punctual, punctual. Well, it could be, but when they talk about accurate, they probably, because he's the riverboat captain, he probably has to know a lot of information being the captain. And probably it's going to be important because safety is going to depend on the accuracy of the information. And so that's what um, accurate is going to mean. Right? His information, it's going to be exact and it's going to be reliable information. Okay, so then let's think about those two sentences and then make a question. So those two sentences, they kind of tell us two important. I mean, you could think they're both important. One, Mark Twain, right? We know exactly where the name came from, and it came from the captain because that's how he signed his name, right? So we know where that started. But then if we wanted to know, okay, what is the captain like? Why was he so important to Samuel Clemens? And then that they tell us that information, which is he was truthful, he was reliable, and he was accurate. So then you just have to decide which one you think is important and worth remembering.
What pen name did Captain use to sign his name?
Okay.
It's
Mhm. And now we can see the connection where that name came from. Okay, so that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. When Clemens started a job as a journalist, he decided to adopt Mark Twain as his name. Okay, so this is kind of interesting because normally we think of Mark Twain as the writer, the book writer. But we know now that, oh, he was basically a newspaper writer in the beginning. He hoped that it would remind him to always write the truth. Okay, so now we also understand why the captain was such an important part of his career. Okay, so your turn to read.
Clemens started the job as a journalist. He decided to adopt Mark Twain as his name. He hoped that it would remind him to always write the truth.
Okay, so definitely now we have some other new important information.
Why?
It could be a tough question.
Why did he use Mark Twain as his name?
hmm Why did what was your question one more time? Why did he use the name Mark Twain?
Yes, as a name, as his name.
And the
Because
answer?
because because it would remind him to always write the truth.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. So we have it was under this name that he wrote his most famous books in this situation, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
It was under this name that he wrote his most famous works, The, the Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
Mhm, mhm. And actually, these books are connected because Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, who was another boy, they were cousins. Okay, so then we have Mark Twain also trademarked his name. He received legal and exclusive rights to use his name. So if you're wondering, well, what is trademark? They tell us it's the legal and exclusive rights to use a name.
Mark Twain also trademarked his name. He received legal and exclusive rights to use the name Mark Twain.
hmm Okay, so probably, if we think about those two sentences, one, they were telling us his most famous works, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, and then second, now they're telling us something different, maybe new information about his name, which is it was trademark, trademark. So, for example, when you go to drink a soda called Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is also a trademarked name. So usually we use trademark to protect. It's for the business, and we use it to protect the business. Okay, so thinking about that question,
What did he receive for to use the name Mark, Mark to use the name Mark Twain?
okay, so then let's say it like this. So what did he receive? And let's use that word trademark, right? Because that's kind of a new word that we can practice. So when he trademarked his name, right? And then the answer,
He received legal and exclusive rights. No, received, not the.
what?
There, you write the D, but there has to be no D in this graph.
D where?
The what did he received?
Oh, legal and exclusive rights.
And beside that,
Oh, this is notes. These are notes. We don't have to write a sentence. So remember, so these are notes, right? We don't have to write exact word for word, right? So the whole reason you do this is to remind yourself, right? Like, so, for me, when I write this, I don't need to write receive because that's easy information for me, right? But if you write the notes, then you can write receive, okay? It's because you
okay,
want to write it the way so that it's easy for you to remember. But because we're just talking and we're just taking notes, I'm just gonna do it the quick way.
okay.
All right, so then let's go ahead and look at the next part. So we have he also started the Mark Twain Company to promote. Promote means like advertise his works and image, and to sell products using the name Mark Twain.
He also started the Mark Twain Company to promote his works and image, and to sell products. using the name Mark Twain.
Okay, so let's see. Hmm. Okay, so what are they telling us in that last sentence? Because we know in the previous sentence they talked about trademarked his name. So in this sentence, what are they saying? Because we're talking about like Coca-Cola, that's a trademark name. McDonald's, that's a trademark name.
What is the purpose of starting the Mark Twain Company?
There you go. So we got okay, and the answer?
To promote his works and image, and sell products using the name Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just put products here. Basically, it's his business, right? He's
Right.
creating his own business, and so it's just an extension of his trademark. All right, so now let's take a look at the question. Which title best summarizes the main idea of the passage?
Little known facts about the name Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. That is correct. Now, some students said A, the great American writer Mark Twain. But why is it not A?
Because main they are saying mainly about the, the hidden facts of Mark Twain.
Yeah, they're talking a lot about his life that's not related to his books, right? So if they wrote more about him as a writer, then it would make sense, right? But I mean, they talked a little bit about his writing, right? When the books that he wrote, and he was a journalist, right? But there's a lot of other information that doesn't connect with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause on that note. So if you want to, you can go ahead and watch this video later on YouTube. Okay, so when we come back next time, we are going to take a look at the next story, and then that's going to be story number 8. Okay, so you have a good night. I'll see you then. Bye.
Goodbye.